guys, welcome back to another episode on the Corner Flag Talk Podcast. It's your boy John, and we here as always to talk about the latest in football. Um, this is one of those rare occasions where I don't have Virgil with me, and I have only one person with me. For those of you watching on YouTube would see, is me and Brandon here, and it is so funny. Like me and Brandon was actually supposed to do a pod alone at the start of last year. I believe it was. And we ended up having Jordan on it, which was good. And I'm not saying no. But me and Brandon never ever get to sit down like this before. So it'll be fun. And the honest to God truth is I'm really, really looking forward to this. Like no joke I am. I told Brandon this always. It's not a secret, but I'm telling you all this is that Brandon's generally one of my favorite people to talk to about football. And it have some things that like I generally just want to talk to him alone about. I will message him privately. We'll talk about that stuff. And so this should be interesting because more than genuinely anybody else on this pod, I think Brandon pushes me to think a lot more and really try and develop more opinions and stuff. So with that being said, we have Brandon here. Brandon, was a good, my guy.
Just the two of us. We can make it if we try.
Hey. Damn, I should have had that song already, actually. That was really good.
Hello,
uh,
everybody. I am good. I am good. Excited to be here.
so, guys, as we said, we're going to hit top about the latest in football. We'll obviously start in the Prem, but with some big developments in other places. We'll go there as well. For those of you who don't know, we did a Champions League preview for the entire round of 16 last week. It's on our YouTube now and the podcast platform as well. So we might cover a little bit in terms of the stuff that happened last week, but we will not be covering what's going to happen this week. It was already covered. It's on YouTube. It's on the pod. Go listen to it there. Without further ado, we started in Premier League. And where else to start with the Big Six clash that happened this weekend, which was Manchester City hosted Chelsea FC. And if I had $1 for every time Brandon messaged me and said that, are you ready for a 6-0, a 8-0, some kind of thing to that effect, I would have been able to buy a super deal, I feel. Because I was about 25 times that he told me. And that's not the case. It happened to be a 1-1, one where I do think that Chelsea did ride in luck at times, but they really dug in and they put it up before was a warranted a bit of luck to go with them. It didn't go all the way after still an open. He scored in the 42nd minute. Rodri went on with an effort that was off the returning from injury Chaloba into the back of the end behind Petrovic, but they managed to see out a 1-all draw. That means that for the first time in 11 games, Manchester City has failed to win a game. And thus, it has implications further on the title race. But Brandon, general thoughts, how you felt about the game?
Well, the funniest thing is like when I was going into the game, I thought we were not going to play very well. I thought City were going to walk us, and
Mm.
by the end of the game, I was upset because we should have taken all 3 points.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. Mm-hmm.
I don't think City had their best day. I think we caught Haaland on probably the worst day of his
The
career.
best time to catch him, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and I think the rest of the team were pretty off. Like I think
Mm-hmm.
Foden had one of his quietest games. De Bruyne was spamming crosses, but they weren't very good.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
Doku seems to be a divisive
And
point in the
ah!
entire game. Nobody knows if Doku played well or if Doku didn't
Hey,
play well. It's still a
hey,
mystery.
yeah.
So I just feel like we caught them on the worst day possible. We did not
Mm,
capitalize. We took the lead. I think Pochettino went in the wrong direction with bringing on Chalobah. I don't think that was the right substitution. I think at the time you mentioned that it reminded you of when Newcastle was playing PSG and they locked up shop way too early and invited the
mm-hmm,
pressure. Well, that's exactly what happened in this game,
mm-hmm,
and it was inevitable. I mean, I hate that this is the case, but the big game player
mm-hmm,
himself, Rodri, come and score again. So
mm-hmm.
it's just one of those things. On another day, Haaland could have had four. I
Yeah.
think you got to give the back four a lot of credit. They played really well. Like I say, we rode our luck, but it is what it is. A point
But
for
that's
us.
football. That's
Yeah,
football.
a point for us in the race for
For
eighth
what?
place, and
Hey.
2 points drop for City, which is incredibly important in this title race. I think one of my friends messaged me and say you all saved the league, and I said, well, you know what, I think we did.
Yeah, I agreed. And you talk about big game player Rodri, which I totally agree. But somebody who in the big moments that you all have had this season, despite him probably missing in the smaller games, turned up and scored for y'all today on the day, which was Raheem Sterling. And I know he has been a divisive figure, despite the fact that he has managed to contribute in games like this, in the game against City at home, against Spurs and stuff like that. Why you think it is that he has become so divisive, despite his pedigree, his career, and even showing up for Chelsea in the bigger games?
Well, it's just that sit still and just doesn't show up enough. Sometimes he has. I think he's been one of the better performers of the season, which is kind of ironic that a lot of people don't want him considering he's been one of the better players.
Mm-hmm.
But is like I say, I had to write it up. So I think a lot of people were shocked that Sterling started, but in the end, you have to give Poch credit for that. He stuck with him and he got put us in the lead. And then it really, when he took him off, that's when the whole
Mm-hmm.
game changed.
Mm-hmm.
So, Sterling he just continues to, laugh in the face of people who just don't think he's good enough to play for Chelsea.
And I mean,
But yeah,
staying on Chelsea, that this was a game that we really spoke about it digging in, and a lot of players that were under criticism that I still think is warranted. Put in a performance that at least put them on for another week. One of those being somebody who has appeared in every single league game for y'all, and Axel the Sassy. He's played right back for whatever reason Pot sees fit. He's played centre back quite often, and I think this has been his best game so far for y'all. I know he scored in games before, but forget he scored. I think he was everywhere. I think he put his body on the line really well, and even though Haaland had chances, I think that when Haaland came on his side, he found it a little bit hard, and I thought that he did well to back up Gusto in defending Doku a lot at the times. So this back four, though, Brandon, do you feel like this could be for your good forward, the back four?
yeah, it probably could because we still missing. We haven't seen Fafana for the entire season, so we
Yeah,
don't know if
boy.
he's there. Badiashile has been injured for the majority of the season, so maybe for the end of the season, until the end of the season, we could work with a back four just similar to this. And
Mm-hmm.
it's kind of interesting that he's finally putting everybody in their proper positions. It's only took him a few months, but
Mm.
it's a shock when a right back plays at right back and a left back plays at left back,
What
and two
could
centre
happen,
backs
huh?
play in centre backs. What could happen?
Yeah.
So yeah, but Chelsea have been on. I think we are what is it? Yeah, we've been on a good run, So I don't think
Yeah.
I feel like we
The
finally
Liverpool game
catching
is
some
really the
form.
big. The Liverpool Wolves game came two back-to-back losses amongst a bigger run where you all won six
Yeah,
and nine. And I give credit where it's due. They are putting up results. Cole Palmer is obviously having a fantastic season. Probably didn't have his most standout game. I
yeah,
thought that he still was pretty good. I know you felt differently about a lot of players that we spoke about so far. But one more thing as we go from Chelsea across to City is that I think that even though he did, I do think the result is more on the manager. I think he set you all up really well, and I think that we have seen that they look. I know we all anytime that we talk about any fault with Man City is always combated with the history that what they've produced and what they continue to produce, and no matter what form of a glass show that we find on them, they always manage to go on to win, which one, yeah, it's true. It is what it is. But I think it also absolves us from having discussions about issues that they may have. And something that has been happening to them is that over the last few months and weeks, they have conceded from the first shot on target. And now, while that did not happen, Chelsea carved them open a lot of times in this game. Nicholas Jackson missed a sitter. Obviously, still scored his goal. And Conco also probably should have gotten a better pass from Cole Palmer, but also had a chance. I think Gallagher had a chance even. Had somebody Gallagher set up in the first half as well with a 1-2 into the box. These are a few chances that we are talking about it. And yeah, when we reach City, we'll talk about the fact that Haaland missed five chances. And on another day, that doesn't happen. We put that to the side. But I was observing the fact that Chelsea also opened them up quite consistently. So we talked about before on this pod many times, Posh lack of a plan going forward. Is this probably the plan or this is just for the bigger games? Where, to be fair, we've seen Chelsea put up pretty good fights this season.
yeah. I really don't know, but I still don't think we play extremely well against the big teams. I feel like, truthfully, I think we've caught all of them on a bad day, except for Man United, which is kind of sad when you think about
Yeah,
thinking about how the season has gone. But
yeah.
you know what? Poch, we didn't lose the game. We everybody thought we was gonna get rolled, myself included. So I'll give him credit for that. But because we were 1-0 up, all I can say is it hurt when we
Mm-hmm.
we did we didn't get a chance to do it. And the most important thing I think about the game is like City actually played, like they played properly when Bernardo Silva came on, and I don't know
Yeah.
about you, but I think Alvarez was terrible in that game. I don't even remember
Horrendous,
anything.
bro.
I don't even remember
Horrendous.
anything that Alvarez did. I've been
Oh,
so honest with you.
I remember when he tried to rush Cole Palmer and get buried in the middle of the park.
Yeah, so I
That's
mean,
actually it.
yeah, I think like when he came on, and it was no surprise to me that they scored after that. So I feel like that
Hmm.
was important for them, and yeah, but
Yeah, I
Chelsea
mean,
going forward, that's just it.
we fed up say on this pod that how undervalued Bernardo Silva is in a
Hmm.
general sense, and they don't click without him. And I think that him, if he ever is to sustain a long injury, then it would actually have a big telling impact on their season. I think it's underrated how often he is fit and available and consistent, and how undervalued it is to have somebody who is a midfielder stroke attacker that manages to put in 8 out of 10s every single week. But somebody who Alvarez has been replacing in the 11 in these games is Ilkay Gundogan, who's obviously no longer there. But in games like this where you want somebody to help with transition control and stuff like that, he is not there. And is it a case then now that we could be seeing a bit of the impact of not having somebody who is not just a more natural eight, but somebody who is well rounded in every phase of the game, as well as has a level of consistency no longer in that role in Manchester City?
Yeah, well, I mean, you're talking about their most impactful player probably over the
Mm.
past 3 years, maybe. And
Yeah,
I think one of the other things too, why I feel like we have not. Alvarez has kind of gone by during the season. Like he started the season really well,
yeah,
um, but when Haaland got injured and everybody expected him to carry on his good form, he did not, and he
yeah.
has not continued that good form since.
Hmm.
And it's hard to replace somebody like Gundogan. So I think might be a little harsh on Alvarez, but I don't think he's lived up to the replacement expectation.
Hmm.
And I keep getting more worried and worried about City by the day, because the
No, but
the fact that the
the
fact
thing
that
is,
everybody
Brand,
thinks that they're gonna win, I don't know how they're gonna do it at this point, because it'll be something close to like cinematic.
yeah, and that's the thing. I have said before. I still do. I still think that one of us and Liverpool are going to win the league. Obviously, I have where I stand and what I prefer, but I said that a few weeks ago, and even though I think Liverpool stumbled a bit, when they played us, I still believing in their abilities to carry this thing to the end. But with City, I don't think it's necessarily entirely on Alvarez, but I think it's also on the fact that players have come in and none of them have managed to, like. Even though I think the thing with Gundogan that is so underrated is how not just mature he is and clutch he is, but how well rounded he is in every phase of the game. Now, even though you might not get that in one player, because I really think that's really hard to replace. They brought in two players plus use Alvarez in that role. So you're looking at Kovacic, you're looking at Matthias Nunes, and they're looking at Alvarez. And like they have not managed to find that balance on how to use that role in the bigger games. Because the other point is that obviously this team role, the Champions League, they obviously are well favorites to go through from their round of 16 tie. The only Big Six win this season has come against Manchester United. And while City's famous argument, which continues to prove true of how they win this league, is because when it comes to playing the other 14 teams in this league, they will steamroll them. And that they continue to do that, and nobody is saying no. But that does absolve us from having the conversation of this, that we are in the middle of February. At this point, they have played Chelsea twice, no wins. They played Arsenal, they lost. They played Liverpool, and they drew. They played United, and they won. They played Spurs, and drew. And so I think that is something that's worth discussing at this point. Are they lacking somebody to help them really put these screws to these bigger tides? And people have expected, and I swear, being an Arsenal fan, people are going to say this is going to come from a place of Reals or something. And I really not at this point. But people expected like things like KDB to start to play in the Gundogan role or Foden to step up and play in midfield more and these kind of things. But so far, those things have not happened in the bigger games.
Yeah, and this was the point I was gonna bring up to you. Like I told you, I would not tell you earlier, and that point is I feel like City's depth and the what is going to win the league this season is who has the best depth,
Yep.
because the
Agreed.
story of the season has been everybody has injuries,
Yeah.
and it's about which group of players are strong enough to
To cope with
go
it.
through losing types of players and making it through. And I just think out of all of them right now, City just proven to be not like just they're
Yeah.
not as equipped as Liverpool and Arsenal. That's how it looks right now. Because
Yeah.
they keep
Just
stumbling, we
today.
keep
Just
expecting them.
today.
Yeah,
Next
yeah, we
month we
keep
can be saying something different, but
yeah,
just today.
exactly. But as of right now, I think like that is the one stumbling block, and until those City players, the fringe City players prove that they can do it, then
Mm-hmm.
I'm not as convinced as I've been throughout the
Yeah.
entire season. Because look, you drop Bernardo, he doesn't play for one game, and look how difficult they made it.
Yeah. And the thing is, right, is like we are talking about, a season where I believe that we are in a position where the three teams that are competing for the league are all well positioned to at least, obviously, not all of them could win it, but all of them could go the distance, not just in the league, but also probably go a little further in Europe. So then now, when you reach to that March April period where they are rotating between the league and the weekend, the league and midweek, league and midweek, it could become a little problematic there. And the thing is, it's not to say that we have not seen French players from City step up and play some role. Obviously, Oscar Bob came in and won the game for them against Newcastle. We see Alvarez already deputized. But the thing is, coming down to the end of the season, Brandon, nobody want to hear, after Arsenal lose the league, that Nketiah came in and had like 5 goals in 4 games or whatever. What matters is that now you keep doing it till the end of the season. And I've said this before, and I again we've been rebutted by the argument. Look, dog, City always does it. They're gonna do it. They're gonna do it. That City lost a lot of experience within the squad this last year going here. They lost Gundogan, who we all know how important he is, but they also lost Riyad Mahrez. They also lost Aymeric Laporte. And while these players would always consist of Gundogan more or less, they were the ones that they could turn to, that when Pep wanted to rotate the squad a little bit, be able to take some minutes off somebody, take minutes off of somebody else. He turned to these guys, and while they may not be the names that come to your mind when you think about, okay, what is Pep starting 11? These were the players that when you watch the end of the season, 1,000 minutes in the league. Where that come from is because they took up this time. And it's a case of, does Foden step up to that mantle instead of just being a squad player anymore? Does Oscar Bob step up to whatever level in what role he's asked to be in? Does Sergio Gomez play some kind of part? Does Gavadiol, who I think has been underwhelming to be nice so far, does he step up and play a more major part going forward? You know?
Yeah, I don't disagree with anything you say. I mean, like, most of look at all those players you call. Like I don't think any of them have been, well, except for Foden. I think Foden's been very good this season. But
Yeah.
I don't think the rest of them. We could include Nunez. You could include Kovacic.
Yeah.
They just haven't lived up to it, and I think that is the
Yeah.
the ultimate marker of the season so far for City.
And now, looking in terms of stuff that happened on the gate, we look at the attack, and obviously they made enough chances to win. Um, but Haaland was missing on the day. Now, again, I also think it really makes sense we talk about this brand, because what gonna happen is that he gonna play midweek against Brentford. He can literally get carbon copy of those same 5 chances, and he walking out with 4 goals very easily. I don't think it's something that would discuss like, oh my god, is there concern about Haaland? But I think where there's a reasonable discussion point is to remember that at the end of the day, these players are still human, and as much as we've credited them, and rightly so, for all that they've done over the last year and the last few years and what they did, it the reason that the three Peter is so um remarkable, and the reason that it's not done so often, at least in England, because only United, I know they have done it, is because it does take a toll on these guys to be keeping a certain level of performance going forward. So my question then to you is, because I guess I do all of them monologue at this point, do you right now, we're not going to overly hold it to this, do you, where you stand right now, feel like if that was the starting level, just Bernardo in for one of those players going forward, expect that level to continue for the whole season, enough to win the league and the Champions League?
Oh yeah, I definitely think so. I
Okay.
think You could see the difference when Bernardo came on.
Mm.
And again, I don't think Haaland is gonna have a worse game. You
Yeah,
saw how devastated he was after the game. He pushed away the
yeah,
camera, kind of thing.
yeah,
I don't think you're getting anything close to that. And Haaland is that kind of player, but he's like he has he I people know like he knows that people know that he had a terrible game.
yeah.
Like and
And he's
then
very self-aware.
yeah, he is. And I mean, I think, bro, I'm not gonna lie to you, he had seven decent chances by his
Yeah,
standards. And I think he should have, if him not having at least two goals is crazy to
it's
me.
insane. Yeah,
So,
yeah,
yeah, so I mean, I don't, I feel like I said, if they had one change and on another day, but on another day, they didn't need a change because Haaland
mm.
probably gets a hat
Hard
trick in this
chances.
game.
Yeah,
So, I just it's just right now City just need to focus on trying to win as many games as possible. They have
yeah,
a lot of games coming up soon, but if they're not careful, they're just going to slip away. And if
yeah.
slipping away now is probably the worst thing to do.
And I think like the two biggest questions for them going forward, not that they have not answered these things so much in the past before, but it's one that they have to go to Anfield still, and it's a place that Pep has never won since his first year actually in the job,
Mhm.
But he has not won there since. Has not won there since club has become a competitor against them officially in this league. And he also has to host Arsenal as well. Now, while that one is way less of a question because he's obviously won at the Etihad many times. This is Arsenal that are doing well and are growing in stature in the game and have so far come up against them twice this season, and both times Arsenal have come up better in those games. And so, with those remaining ties there, the next question I have before we move on to something else is that City defense has become under a lot of scrutiny this season, and I think rightfully so. And so then now we are looking at City team that's going to continue to give up chances. And let's be real, right? They do this in Anfield, with hopefully, a fit Darwin with Salah and with somebody else, whichever one they decide to put up front there. We could be looking at City not just dropping points, but possibly losing there, you know? And who's to say that other teams don't take advantage. Weirdly, United have a better record in recent years at the Etihad than they have at home. They still have to play their favorite opponent, Spurs, and all these things actually come in a very truncated run between now and the next international break. Is this something that Pep needs to be a little bit more wary about and secure?
Yeah, he does. He definitely does. Like I said, now is not the time to slip away. If he slips away now, it would be difficult for him to bring it back. And I don't know, boy. It just you remember. I don't know if you remember earlier in the season when they drew at Liverpool, how we felt after the game. I feel
Mm-hmm.
this is the time where everybody should probably feel a little bit like, oh, City drew that game, and they didn't win
Yeah.
that game. This is
No,
kind
and
of
that's
like
the
we reached
thing,
that
right,
stage of the
Brian?
season.
You don't care if they're going to win the league. Every single point they drop out along the way, nobody's going to care.
Hmm.
And rightfully so, they win the league, right? But then now, those things, this is why, those are the kinds of things that need to be results based analysis because it only matters if it matters in the end
Hmm.
you know. But the reason that we bring these up things to discuss is so that it does not happen along the way again. That it becomes something to discuss because the way that game went is the way a lot of is like how today went. Not today, this weekend went. And he says that they created a lot of chances in that game as well. Created a lot of chances here and did not take it and were allowed to be hit on the counter by the opposition. And so it comes like if they are I know we're talking about them. It doesn't take like being critical about any team. All of a sudden makes it sound like if you're talking about some upper mid table team that have this big glass jaw. But this is a weakness. This has become a frailty with them. How many times this season, Brandon, despite how much we all praise him, we all put him in our team of the years, that Kyle Walker has been caught sus defensively in 1v1 instances. And not just sus, but don't watch me like that. But also punished. Like it's not even just like in a Virgil van Dijk case where like he might get catch out once in a while, but don't get punished. Now this brother again catch isolated and get dunk all right through that. Like it's actually kind of funny. And so, this is the thing. I actually not sure how Pep actually fixes it other than hoping these players come back into form. Because the thing is, Kane's his best option at left back. You know, I still think between Walker and Akanji is his better options at right back. And we all know who's his preferred pair in the middle there between Stones and Diaz. And it's kind of hoping that Stones stay fit. I don't even think he's fit right now. You know, and sort of the fullbacks will be a little bit better defensively.
Yeah, Walker is I bro, I know that idea. When if you have a player who everybody deems as Mr. Reliable and he
He's
doing
not.
those kind of things,
Yeah.
that's the state of the team right now. So that's just the case. I mean, Walker has been I don't say memed, but there have been a lot of moments this season where everybody's been like, ooh, I don't know what that one,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
people criticize other right backs, English particularly,
Way
in
easier.
the
Way.
league, and I think Walker is having one of his worst seasons.
Yeah, he is.
So yeah, but I
And
mean, I agree with what he said too. Like Pep is hoping that his team catches form, and
mhm.
unfortunately, that is probably exactly what's going to happen
Yeah, yeah,
because he just needs some one of the players to catch form for the rest of the season. And we need to be honest. I think that was De Bruyne's worst game since he came back, and he's been
yeah.
good at every
Mhm,
single game other than that
mhm.
one. So it I don't know how Pep does this, why he does this, but it just works. And like I
So,
said, it's gonna be cinematic if they win. It really is.
so looking forward for City before we just go across to the title rivals. You know, they have two games that I think that they definitely should be winning. Right, they hosting Brentford, who was the only team to beat them at home last year, I believe. But I know they did beat them. At home. They was the only team to do double on them last year, but they obviously relegation threatened this year. Don't see that happening. And they playing a Bournemouth team who dropped points real silly this weekend and have been out of form. Those games I think should be wins. However, when you go beyond that, you know, you're looking at that they hosting United and going to Liverpool and going to Brighton. These are all places and teams that they have dropped points to last year, by the way. They host Arsenal, they host Aston Villa, they go to Crystal Palace, who, you know, they love to drop points too. So it's not the most straightforward run for them. You know, and you're talking about, you know, in these periods, they do actually get a chance to stop and like take account. So then it's just like it's play through it and hope you see yourself through it. You know, cool. Look at across now. If I offered you, Brandon, a 4-1 win week for your side on any given weekend, you take it, right? But unfortunately, you know, Liverpool fans were left. Guys, I promise you, we're actually not going to talk about this very long. But they were left with a sour taste in their mouth as, you know, two of their better performers over the last few weeks and over this season came off injured for Liverpool and Curtis Jones and Mr. who I think is very underrated is Diego Jota. And that one came off, they say it's precautionary. So hopefully, you know, it's not that serious for him. But again, Brandon spoke about, and rightly so, it's about who's going to outlast these injuries and keep getting results while they're trying to get players back and stuff like that. And Darwin with an exceptional finish in the first half, bro. Like, you know, when you talk about Brandon, somebody who is not the most consistent in front of goal, and he decides to go for the most audacious option in finishing that chance. It says so much about him actually, and how, you know, resilient his mentality is towards these misses and stuff like that. And I make a joke today. I don't know if you see. I was like, that would just have stick drift when he shoots it. He just has stick drift because it's the most like accurate thing I can generally think about to describe this guy, you know.
That's actually funny.
And obviously Salah returned, and with his most sickening self, just went back to being Mohamed Salah, and so they continue to be themselves. But I would say that Brentford did have a decent amount of chances in the game. And so while we talk about a glass straw with City, I think the difference with Liverpool and I'll say that Keith, I know he was critical about this, and I understand why. Is that they have one of the best, or he didn't have a money day, but in general, they have one of the best keepers in the world in Allison, and they have one of the best defenders of our time in Van Dijk. You know, and these guys perform to such an exceptionally level is that they can be the difference makers for you in one box, and you have one of the best difference makers in the other. And so a lot of the stuff in between then becomes a bit null and void. So are you worried at all about Liverpool with both the climbing injuries and the ability to concede chances? Are you worried at all?
I'm worried in the short term, in the sense of the next one, two, three, maybe three games,
Hmm.
um, they have the final coming up next week, which I
Yeah.
think is will be difficult because I saw I'm not sure if it's true or how true it is, but I saw Darwin might be 50-50 for the final.
Hmm.
They said Salah might not play. Jota will be out. Curtis Jones will be out. They only have four fit midfielders, so looking in the short term, it's going to be very difficult for them. However, something that he was just talking about, I actually have this thing up here. Liverpool play 7 out of the top 11 in the league, and then they also play 5 of the bottom 6 to finish the season.
Yeah,
So,
that's a
I
great
mean,
running though. I
yeah,
can't
it's
lie.
a great run. And the thing is,
Yeah.
like, Klopp in his final season, I just feel like they just continue to show the depth and how adequate the depth is. And once they're able to do that, I don't see, and I'm not worried about them because if there was any time to be worried about them, they've proved to me countlessly throughout the season that I should
Yeah.
not be worried.
And the thing is, we criticize Chelsea in the past for, lack of discipline. They are the complete opposite. They are so committed and disciplined to the cause. And what we said, if Klopp sound the alarm that he leaving in the season, we can see that even more. I think that's a fantastic running to have. I think the only really tricky times we're looking at for them coming up is before the international break. They have to obviously host City and then they have to go to Everton, who we all know why by now Everton. They're having a better season and the points that the table suggests. Um, and those two could be a little tricky before April time, but then as you rightfully say, bro, coming on to the end of the season, it should be very easy for them to see it out. Um, in terms of going forward for them, and we'll pivot over to Arsenal after this, is that do you see in the foreseeable future that the Europa League that Thursday to Sunday thing could become taking a toll on them?
Yeah, it might, but it depends on when everybody starts to come back. Because I'm not 100% sure when some of the players are coming back. I can't remember
Yeah.
exactly when Trent's supposed to come back. I don't remember when Soboslai is supposed to come back,
So
but those will be
apparently Jota
definite.
out for 10 weeks.
Yeah, he out
Apparently
for like
that
two
is
months, so that'll be a
yeah,
big
that's
loss for
that's
them.
real rough boy. And
Hey, listen, a player we've criticized a lot throughout the season. It's a good time for him now, Cody Gakpo. We need to
yeah,
see what,
boy.
what he's made of. Like this is his time. I feel like, he has no reason to not perform now. He will be starting.
And Bran,
Klopp gonna lean on him.
I was listening to one of the million one pods I was listening to, and somebody said like, this is the time of the season where you find players to define your season, and like an example of that, at least over a very short period right now, has been like how all of a sudden Trossard seems undroppable for Arsenal, and like you ask people about him a month ago, 5 6 weeks ago, they wasn't putting him in their levels. Even I'm guilty of that as well, and now you won't have it without him. And this is around the time where Cody Gakpo not just needs to show up, but last year when they signed him, he seemed undroppable at that point, when we had questions over other players. And it's time for him to show up as well. Anything else you want to say about Liverpool before I pivot across? And then we talk top four and then we could talk other leagues.
Um, I just also want to say, I hope Allison, for their sake, Allison is not out for too long. They
So,
definitely need, and nobody knows what Allison has been doing in order to enjoy himself so much. So
here was somebody said, Allison has made more sprints off of his line than any other keeper in the league. And given that it was his half shot he pulled, it may have something to do with it. But bro, like I
I wonder
remember
why
we
he
was
has
talking
been so
about.
much sprints already.
I remember we was talking about injury prone keepers a while ago. We was talking about Milan, right? And so
Mhm.
I went to check to see like how much games both of them missed. His wheel was for mine. Now, albeit he's had less injuries, but is more long term injuries.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So while Milan had like 3 injuries in the last 6 years, they were all horrendous ones. Whereas Allison has this real weird pattern of missing like 6 7 games a season. I don't understand why.
Yeah.
Like
Why?
that is so weird. But yeah, cool. Arsenal, on the other hand, obviously 5-5 in the last couple of games. They are currently 19 goals difference with 21 scored and 10 and 2 against. One of them being a blasted own goal. And they didn't deserve to score that game. But it's been a good run. And we are obviously playing a lot better. And I think like the two things that I really took from this run, not just the individuals who are doing better, but also that one, we needed to beat Liverpool. Like I said it before, that wasn't a game of not lose it. It was like, we had to win in order for the season to maintain its meaning. And not just that we did that, but then proceeding from that. We didn't just like, hey, we beat Liverpool, all night and gone to West Ham and then end up 2-2 or some shipping like that. But win there as well. And then win against Burnley. And then, in Jesus, holy and precious, we just keep it going. And yeah, where I am mentally about the team is as well, I would really like for us to get back some players, especially players in the midfield and defense, and just take it a game by game. At this moment in time, it's still out of our hands mathematically because we're gonna need Liverpool to drop points somewhere else. But we take it game by game, and we just see where the season goes. And yeah, we gotta say,
I think you'll have been exceptional over the past 5 games. I think
yeah,
it's very nice to see. I don't, as much as I don't like, I don't like Arsenal as a team. I like good football at the end of the day. I think you'll have been playing some of the best football I've seen for the season by any team
hmm
over the span of a few games. But I will be honest, over this 5 game span, I did tell myself that I think Arsenal could win all of 5 of these
hmm
games,
yeah.
and I think they
I don't think
should
that's
win all
unfair either.
5 of those games.
Yeah.
One of the things I told you after the Liverpool game, I don't know if you remember this, but I said the thing about Arsenal is that it's all about the timing of wins.
hmm
This 5 game run is extremely impressive, but if you lose 2 games down the line, like that will be more detrimental than winning
Yeah.
6 games in a row. Like that's the kind of thing we're looking at. And I mean, I just want to shout out. I just want to shout out a much maligned player from everybody, including the Arsenal fan base. Big up Martin Odegaard. For the past
Yeah,
five
boy.
games, probably been one of the
Insane.
best players in the league.
Yeah.
Unreal performances.
It
Big up
is.
Saka too. You know, is he world class? Is Foden world class? We will never know. Um,
Brian, I wanted to ask you this, is that like, we obviously seen what Saka is doing, right? And I have my biases. I won't deny that. But I think what he does is exceptional. And now I hate like I think it was CBS or NBC one. I hate when they do this stat line like where like, you know, it was something like only two players have ever had a very specific number and a very specific number more goals and assists in a very specific timeline. And I feel like that is real overdoing it. But like they did stuff like most goals and assists of players 22 and under, at that age, and the kind of players that he has his name around, players like Robbie Fowler, like Cristiano Ronaldo, these kind of guys. And I see what Saka is doing, and the thing is, Brian, I genuinely agree with the whole. You need to win something to be world class. And I do get that. But like, I see what he's doing, and I see the fact that I genuinely, in my heart of hearts, believe that this kid, will walk into every team in the world right now. And like, so that like, but whatever question really is that is there not an exception for some players, boy? You know, now, obviously, he's young, right? And he should win things. And I really hope that he does win something, not just this season with Arsenal, but probably even in the summer to come. But, like, I do get, like, what is it all for if you're not winning something, And I really get that. I've actually been arguing that with Patrick for, like, the last few months, especially in reference to Kane. But, like, I don't know, boy. I see the things he does and the ridiculous consistency that I think he has. Like even when he has bad games and he manages to get some kind of return out of it and still help these side games. And like, I wouldn't I'm not there and I'm not that deluded to say that, that I think like, oh he better than some of these greats because he had this season with this much goals and assists. Cause like it's so weird that I know this off the top of my head. But like the season that y'all won the league on the country, right? That Hazard only had 17 goals and 7 assists or 8 assists, something like that. That is not ridiculous numbers. But I would not trade Saka's season last year where he also had 25 for what Hazard did that year, right? But that kind of consistency that he playing up, boy, I think is remarkable. I generally think it is, you know?
Bro, it's not. It's like it's not. I feel at this point for Saka, it's like people who criticize him. it's like, because I don't criticize him. Like I just feel that for me it's just a matter of, when rather than,
Yeah, yeah,
if,
yeah.
because I feel like he
And
will
I
get
think
there
that's completely
eventually.
fine. I genuinely think that's fair. I think
Yeah,
that's fair.
and truthfully, like, before this stretch of games, I can't remember like when it starts, but yeah, like before that, Saka's record, and people might not believe me, but this is true. You can go and check it. He had 8 Premier League goals in 31 Premier League games, which is not the mark of a player that you want to see.
Mm-hmm.
However, in the last 6 games, I think
Scored
he has
six
a
or
goal in
something.
6 or something in the last few,
Yeah,
right? So I
yeah.
mean, he
It
eventually
is
it will
six.
catch up
Yeah,
and whatever. And truthfully, bro, he's been great. Like, people could say whatever they want.
yeah,
I understand people who say, he not getting on the end of chances. Like, some of these things is very easy, lucky goals for him. But at the end of the day, he had to be there and he had to put it in the
yeah.
back of the net. So, um, and
Like
again,
I hear that
is
we
not
just do
about.
this thing where, and
Mm,
I'm not gonna lie and say that I have not done this for players that I don't like, right? But like where we try to overly analyze a goal. Like it is the hardest thing to do in
yeah,
the sport, and then we criticize somebody for are you just being in the right place at the right time, or like for example, right? The goal he scored against Liverpool, bro, to take the touch and to finish in
right.
the 1 second he had to do that takes a level of skill that not everybody has, and yeah, but you was going somewhere, and I really cut you off for this, but please go ahead.
No, yeah, it was just that like, I feel like Arsenal for over these past 6 games, some of the individual performances have been off the charts. And again, like I said, Odegaard, I think has been, I think over the past
Insane.
5 games, there's no better player in the league than
And you know the
Odegaard.
thing, Bran,
And
he genuinely, I highly doubt it unless he really do something really ridiculous. I don't think he's gonna match his goals and assists for last season. But
I don't think he needs to.
I genuinely love this version of him more than any other, bro. Like I love this,
Yeah.
I think like this is him and Arteta embracing the best parts of his game and amplifying it on a high level, extremely high level.
Yeah, and then like, looking at some of the more underrated performances. Like, I think, again, I have said this since you all signed him. I think Trossard is an
Yeah,
incredible player.
yeah, boy.
He's one of the best. He's one of the best forwards in the league, if we're being
Yeah.
honest. So I mean,
Hmm.
I don't know why people get so surprised that he's been doing all of these good things for Arsenal since he's come. I
Hmm.
think QEO has been pretty good
Yeah, boy.
since he's come in. Like, it's
Like
kind
talk
of
about
funny that,
finding players, like we're
yeah,
not in a
since
position where Zinchenko can walk back into the team.
since Zinchenko has not been playing, you'll
We
look
have not
extremely
conceded.
good.
We
Yeah,
have
it
not
looks so
conceded.
much better
Hey.
defensively. So, take that with a pinch of salt as well.
Yeah,
But again, for me, this season comes down for Arsenal with timing. Like,
yeah.
winning how much, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, winning 5 games in a row, 6 games in a row is all good. Like, everybody is happy that you're doing that, but don't
Hmm.
lose 3 games at some point later
Yeah.
on during the season.
Hmm.
This is like, that will totally derail it. And the
Yeah.
one thing I was also gonna say, and the final point is, you'll play Porto on the 12th of March, which is the second leg,
Yeah, and then
followed
we're gonna play
by
City.
Chelsea,
Oh no,
followed
Chelsea,
by
yeah.
Chelsea,
Chelsea and then
followed by
City.
City, followed by Luton, followed by Brighton, Aston Villa, Wolves, Tottenham, Bournemouth, Man United, Everton until
I
the
think
end of the
the
season.
international break somewhere in there though. That's the only thing
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
would
But
say.
I mean, still, at the run of fixtures, that
Yeah.
is not something you want to encounter. I think you'll have a very hard
I know.
finish to the season.
Trust me.
So
I have
that is the
watched
point.
the remaining fixture for us and the other two teams. We don't have it
I mean,
necessarily hard.
after the first leg against Porto, you'll have played Newcastle.
Yeah,
So I mean, this is the whole point.
yeah.
Timing of wins. It doesn't. The wins aren't important.
No,
The
but
timing of the
Bran,
wins, you need to get it.
the honest to God truth is like, obviously I do hope we win the league, right? I would obviously, I'm not not some bad to admit even as we analyze them. But my honest to God belief is that for us to win this league, Brandon, is that we're going to have to do something exceptional. In terms of form and consistency. And when I say exceptional, I'm not afraid to say this here. I think we have space to drop points in 3 games totality for the rest of the season, and is about how we do it, where we do it, and the manner in which we do that, it don't derail the next game after that kind of thing. That is the big things because if we go to City and we draw, that's fine with me. Even I'm okay with that. If we go to Old Trafford somewhere that our record there, no matter how pitiful they may be, is not where it should be. We lose there, we draw and stuff like that. Those things we can recover from. But you see, the losing to West Ham at home and then losing to Fulham, yeah, bro. That can't work. So With bringing up United, unless you have something else to say, we could go top four.
No, we
Nice.
could go ahead.
Um, I realized dog, this blast, this striker I have is genuinely unreliable. I should have made that 50 damn goal better to you about Trossard, dog. Dog, I'm at on 7.
I
And
you know what's the thing? I would not have bet out here because I could believe Trossard would score 15 goals.
yeah. And the whole dynamic of the team dog is great. No, the football is great dog. Right, Man United, they play horrendously. However, they managed to be one of the form teams in the league, and so
Unbeaten in 2024,
unbeaten
bro.
in 2024. Hoyland has scored 6 goals in his last 5 games, and Garnacho has commented himself in terms of form as well with consistent returns. And Bruno missed 3 sitters today, so we had a full package of how the game went. But the more important thing is that United went from being, in sorry, I'm gonna say this, has been in and around where Chelsea was to now that they are back into conversations for that fourth place finish. And with the fact that even they beat Aston Villa last week, but they Aston Villa obviously bounced back this week. And Spurs losing again this week, where Wolves did a double on them, despite they having the amount of injuries that they have. And Brighton winning 5-0 against Sheffield today, we have the top four race set for the rest of the season. And so this is more something we want to just run through because we have other title races to talk about. Brandon, how are you feeling about each of those 4 teams going into this title run, this top four run?
Right. So this is I'm glad we got here because this is a point I need to remember to say. So this is the stage of the season where results only thing that matters are results.
Yeah.
Like I think at this point it is foolish of us to continue to criticize Ten Hag for, oh my god, what kind of style of football does he play? What is he doing? Blah blah blah. Like this at this point he need results, and that is exactly what he gets in right now, and that applies for every single one of them. Aston Villa, Spurs this weekend they uh they dropped the ball, and they allowed United back into this into it. They played Fulham, yeah, right, and they beat
Mm-hmm.
Fulham 2-1. It's all about results at this point, and if whichever team continues to get the results sure until the end of the season, that's just gonna be what defines it. Like I think United could have like easily put away Luton today. 2-1 is a very
Yeah, it
flattering
was. It
score
was
to Luton.
flattering. Mm-hmm.
So I at this point that's just how it is. I if I'm being honest with you, bro, I will put United ahead of all of them because I think they
Mm-hmm.
have the momentum right now.
Mm-hmm.
And the truth is, and this has been the case for a lot of the season, I think United have done pretty well with Bruno playing. Like I think the worst we've seen him in England.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what going on with him, but he's been
So
terrible
he
this
genuinely
season.
missed like 3 good chances to score today, and I made
Yeah,
that game
he
so
did.
much
Yeah,
easier.
and he I
And here's
think
the
I
funny thing:
don't.
all the criticism that I have ever given him, that is the one thing I actually never criticized him because I think in front of goal, he's actually very reliable. He's a very good finisher.
Yeah, and I think for the whole season he has like what, 2 assists, maybe 3
Yeah,
assists
I think
for
it's
the entire
4.
season. And yeah, I think for the fact that they've been doing so reasonably with him playing and him as a passenger, I think I would give them the edge over both of them because I feel like Villa, something might happen to Villa along the way. I can't say what it is. It could be Europe, you never know. And Spurs is just Spurs, Like,
Yeah,
are we really going to put them favorites for anything? Are we being like
yeah.
serious about that? So,
And you know the thing, right? With
yeah.
including Brighton into that, as much as they are 7, Brighton are 6 points off United, who are 3 points off Tottenham in fifth, who
Mhm.
are 2 points off Villa. I feel like first to include Brighton, the next few results had to go for them in like such a ridiculous way that they become like 5 points touching distance to that fourth place spot when the next international break come around. Um, where I sit right now is that I actually would still have Spurs finishing fourth right now, and it's just because of how much I believe in their attacking talent, and that even though that they will continue to give up a bunch of chances, I think that Son, even though he only back like 2 games now or something, now, he's going to catch back himself, and he's going to not just score, but he's going to score at the rate where he going to be putting himself in goal and boot race. At some point, Madison will catch back himself, and I think that they have enough attacking cohesive intent. Where United is right now, I do think it's such reliant on players being super clinical in the moment and something's going for them like Hoyland's second goal today. Um that I think that they would do better than Villa coming in the season and finish fifth. Now, fifth could still be a championship spot depending on how things shape off in Europe. So it's not to say that they might.
It ain't looking good, bro. It ain't
Nah, they're
looking
looking
good.
good. They're looking good. But there's a reality that it can't happen. So yeah, I think right now I would have them, and I would have Villa falling off a bit. It's Villa started to stack up a few injuries. And
Bad
then
ones too.
and bad ones and long ones, season-ending ones. And so when we talk about that, they're going to contend with you know the Europa Conference League. While it not isn't the Europa League, is something I am 110% sure that Unai Emery wants to win, and he would want to win that more than he would care finishing anyway in the league table itself. And if it comes to the preference, one or the other, he's going to preference the competition, the Europa Conference League. And so, yeah, um, we're gonna move on from this now though, and we would like to say that the fraud of 2024 is West Ham United, that they are winless for this entire year. And bro, what is this? Dog, things get so bad. We actually saw an appearance from Mikel Antonio this weekend. Like he wasn't playing. Like, no, it's so funny. Okay, guys. So, that was enough Prem talk. We're gonna actually move across over to Germany, where I am so proud to tell you,
To
Brandon.
the real fraud of 2024.
I am so proud to tell you, Brandon, that in the space of 8 days, Kane has lost to former Arsenal captain Granit Xhaka. Then he lost to former Arsenal midfielder Matteo Guendouzi in against Lazio in the Champions League. And then conceded that equalizer to former Arsenal player Takumo Asano as they lost 3-2 to VHF Bochum. Something
Yeah.
to that effect. Yeah, so it has not been a great week for the Expos, man. And thus, as we look at the Bundesliga table, there are 12 games left to go, and they are 8 points clear of the reign. Bayern Leverkusen are 8 points clear of the reigning champions, Bayern Munich. And we're going to talk Kane, because I do want to talk Kane. But credit where it's due for Bayern Leverkusen. Bro, these men are going on. They have equalized Bayern Munich's longest ever stretch of unbeaten games, and they don't look beatable. I genuinely would not be surprised if they go this whole season and not lose at this point. I think they will, just because it just might happen. But one, even if it does happen, Brandon, that's not going to phase them. We're not going to shake them. They look so. When we did talk about the game last week, eh? No, we didn't, because we didn't do actual pod last week. 'Cause we did the pod pre-recorded. When we look at how they play against Bayern, they look so mature in that game. They look so assured in everything that they do, and they have had injuries in it. It's just nobody can talk about it because they just keep winning. But they have had no. One of their signs of the season, Victor Boniface is out for nearly. I think they expect him back like late April or something like that. And other players have been getting injured along the way as well, and they continue to win. So before we talk about Kane and Bayern and possibly Tommy Tuchel losing, he walk by Leverkusen, Brandon.
They continue to defy the odds and expectations. Every time you think they can't get any better, they do. The game against uh, the game against Bayern was incredibly impressive. I feel if anybody watched the game, they they know the type of team that this is at this point. I feel I would not be surprised if they go unbeaten at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I don't see them winning every game from now until the end of the season, but I just don't see a point where they lose a game at this point. Um, again, Frimpong, Grimaldo, I believe, have 30 goal contributions between both of them this season, the
Correct.
most lethal wing
Wing back
back pairing
pairing.
in the
Yeah,
whole
no,
of
insane.
the of thing. So yeah, boy, at this point, I mean, you know me, I am a skeptic of all of this, but what I see in front of my eyes, bro, I can't deny it. Like it
Yeah,
kind of crazy, and it could be, it could be, it could be one of the best league seasons ever by a
yeah.
team,
Mm-hmm.
and I couldn't even reach what is their total number like,
Correct. Right now it's 58, and
but like how much can they?
the maximum that they could get is
It's 34 in the
102.
Bundesliga, right?
Yeah, the max they could get is 102, and so far they've
102.
drew out four. So instead of being able to get four, they could get 36 plus 58. The max they could get is 94.
94. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if they get
It's
like
like
90
90,
points.
yeah, like
I'm
90,
trying to get
92
90
somewhere.
points.
I
Yeah,
yeah, would
I
not be
wouldn't be surprised at
surprised.
this point because I don't know, boy. It kind of ridiculous at this point. I don't know what to say apart from keep it going. These are I think everybody is rooting for them at this point. We all want to see this happen, but for
I
different
would
for
like to
different
see
reasons.
from a personal biases, I was rooting for them from the get because my dog Granit Xhaka is about to land the minerals, dog. Brandon, give what that they win the league. Is my dog world class?
Of course, he would be, bro. I mean, at the end of the day, you shouldn't clap too hard because we were robbed of our Rice, Odegaard, and Xhaka midfield by the Arsenal boardroom, and I will never forgive them for that.
Yeah,
So
boy.
yeah,
Yeah, but
um,
dog, hey,
we were
that would
robbed.
have
We
been
were
my
robbed. We were
dream,
robbed.
honestly. Because I mean,
We were robbed.
I
But it
really
is what
like
it is,
Declan
boy.
even before we signed him, my boy, and then we'd have signed him and have Granit Xhaka. So hey, we should have so. Anyways, but yeah, Kane though. When we did our hot takes episode, Brand, I said that I think that Kane put more risk to his legacy by moving, you know, and this is exactly it. And things happening in the manner days. I'll be very honest with you. Last year going to go to Bayern, and I still expect Bayern to win. And I think that they should win and they should go through. But in any day that happens, Brandon, and the way that they lost this league, in the sense that not just the silly points that they drop along the way, but like one of Bayern's biggest strength has been when it comes time, oh, we need to be serious. Okay, well, come face us, and when you face us, we will demolish you, bro. All that has just gone to the side. They aren't doing that anymore. And here we can point to chances that he has missed and that sometimes he sits too deep and stuff like that. I'm not saying no, but it is really exceptional how it is things are unfolding for them right now. For Bayern and for Kane.
Well, I mean, in the past week, he's been undone by two Chelsea managers, former Chelsea managers, that is Sarri,
Hey!
and undone by his own manager, Thomas Tuchel, who continues to put faith in Upamecano to bring the
Hey!
joy, to bring
Dog!
joy and happiness to the viewers of the Bundesliga.
Yeah,
This
boy.
man is he's just something else, boy. And you know what's the thing, John? I remember when we did the world class episode, and I did bring up the point that I think Kane is not world class, and um, Daniel said that he thinks it's the only exception, and I still hold the view that if there's only one exception to this rule, then it's probably not an exception. It's probably what should be accepted, because this is just something that's happened to him every single season of
Yeah,
his career. Kane is the only player to score 30 goals, I believe, twice in the Premier League and not to win a
not
Premier League.
really. Yeah.
And, like, I think Kane has, what, two golden boots as well in the Prem? He
Yeah.
probably going to get golden boots in the
Yeah.
Bundesliga as well. He could end up with golden boots in the Champions League, and he's just not going to end up with anything.
Yeah.
And that is just the sad reality of it. And, people were saying Kane to drop this playmaker gimmick, and I think he really does. Like, nobody cares if he can drop into the six
Yeah.
and turn it into a 500 meters of the pitch, you know?
And I
Um,
mean, look, we talk
and
about
Bayern
that.
just not in a good place either.
And the thing is, right, we talk about a broader conversation. We're not just talking about the fact that he lost this weekend, right? But even in this game, when they were 1-0 up, he had a chance to make it 2-0. And the thing is, you yourself have said, Brandon, how, we shouldn't just watch the openers, but the games has put the nail in the coffin. And that is where Haaland has been doing exceptional.
Yeah.
And that is the difference. That has been the difference. And this is also what I've been telling Daniel in the sense that, like, dog, players that are at their peak and that want to be in that conversation, not just for world class, but where their legacy will stand at the end of the day, will make those moments count. Now, there's a team sport, and sometimes your team make a lay down like open my can, okay, 2 red cards in a week, which was dog,
Peak
that is
cinema.
so no, that is so special. You know, I mean, more special. We are watching Euros come summer, brother, and he's going to start, and my brain is going to miscompute. But it- it's not like to say that he has not had chances. It's not like to say that these games pass him by and he doesn't do anything. It's like he has moments that make the difference in those games that he has the pressure. Whether it is at Bayern and we see these chances, whether it is at the World Cup and he missing penalties, whether it is at Tottenham and losing leagues or losing finals or whatever it is. And at some point, I believe that there is a portion of talent that has to be attributed to being able to do it under the pressure. It's all well and good, we're doing this in your auntie backyard and we play a little tree outside of thing. What about when it means everything? Your ability to cope and do what you was doing then when you're playing Burnley on a Saturday morning kickoff. What about when it comes to the finals? When it comes to this big game? When it comes to your side losing? And yeah, I don't know, Brandon, that we go back to the season, this same season here. Are we gonna see games where they were losing 1-0 or they may have been 1-0 and he did the decider? Bro, those players also managed to do it as often as the team requires it. And it's not to say that they won't get help along the way. When we look at Cristiano Ronaldo, two of his best seasons in the Champions League, he was not the one to score the winners in the finals. So yeah, you do get help. Di Maria's helped out Messi how much times at this point, you know. But when we look through those tournaments, how often those players decided that match day on match day on match day, and Kane has just lacked that element to his game, you know.
Not only that, I think one thing we also need to talk about is the fact that I think this is something I said when we did the top transfers of the season. I said it was defining for the entire team of Bayern because I don't think anybody can tell me that that Bayern team should not be one of the best teams in the world. Like player for player, they have some of the best players in the world. That team should not be in the situation that they're in right now. And I think the
Mm-hmm.
entire team is not performing, Kane included, because he is the star man of this team right now. Kimmich, has been out of favor with Tuchel. He doesn't
Mm-hmm.
play. Sometimes Muller would be on the bench. Sometimes he coming into the game, he'll
Oh,
start.
triple moting
So
start this weekend, all kind of thing, though.
bro, I am so confused, and like it's been
Yeah.
pretty bad for Bayern. I think, and as Daniel said, a very overrated team, and that
Mm-hmm.
is the best way to describe it. And you should not be a very overrated team
And
when you have supposedly the best striker in the world, and when you need him to score goals to win your games, he's not doing it. So
And
that
which
says a
which
lot.
brings us to the next thing, which is does Tommy Tuchel still have this job come next weekend? And I
I
think it's
don't
a
know,
real
boy.
thing
I
that he
really don't
doesn't
know.
have it. I said to you
Yeah.
this today. I would not be surprised if like they sack him and they get somebody to stay till the end of the season. Hansi Flick doesn't have a job right now, and obviously has his past affiliations with Bayern. I wouldn't be exactly surprised to see it. But the other thing that this also does, Brandon, is show even more light as to whether you thought he was doing extremely well or not, how out of place the sacking of Julian Nagelsmann was last year. And they so sacked him because they were so desperate to get the Champions League winning manager in Tommy Tuchel, and watch how things has gone since then. You know? Like even if you watch his league record, Brandon, when he came in with Bayern last year, again, you have to be there to win it. I'm not saying no. But Dortmund was throwing it away, and he was still trying to throw it. They were also trying to throw it away at the same time as well. So, yeah, do you think that he's still in the job? If not, who you think could probably take over for him?
I saw a thing saying that he will be in the job. I saw I think it was I can't remember if it was a Bayern official or something said that they still have faith in him and they're looking to see it out throughout the season. But I do think if they lose to Lazio, I feel he will lose his job. Unfortunately, um, the manner in which they lost to Lazio and the manner in which they lost today, unforgivable, man. Like
Yeah,
it gets ridiculous at this point. This is one of the
yeah.
best teams in the world, and they're just not performing to the expectations at all.
Hmm.
So, I mean, I ask you this, John. Like, who do you think has been a bigger disappointment, PSG or Bayern this season? Like, being totally honest.
I think it would be Bayern, and it's because like with PSG, the unfortunate reality is that they have the tag of being what they are, which is not performing well in Europe. And they actually have one foot in the round of 16 as it stands.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas Bayern are the complete opposite. And in fact, what I think is even more concerning, and like people will laugh about things about Spursy and whatever, whatever. But bro, we're talking about a team that monopolized this league, regardless of manager, regardless of player, regardless of who was there. They monopolized this league. I think Muller is probably the only person, and Neuer are the only people who are still there from when they started this back to when they took back the reins from Dortmund back in 2012, I believe it was, or 13, whenever it is that they won back the first time before they started this run.
Mm-hmm.
The players didn't matter. And what does that say that? Kane and Tuchel are the two big ones that have changed over this last year. That mentality hasn't, not just mentality, but the culture of the club has changed. At the start of the year, we all were saying things like, Bayern will be up there, one of the favorites to win the Champions League, you know, because of the names that were there, and the players that were there, and the club that what they are. And now we are here, knockout stage time, and people feel the complete opposite. That is a huge change in perception to make. And that plays into how massive a disappointment that they are. You know, you ask about PSG. PSG had 1 foot in the semi-finals, and fair play to them that they rode out a really good first half by Sociedad, to manage to get 2 goals in the second half, right? And fair play to them after what I think has been a shambolic showing in the group stage for them by the standards of what they did in the window, and all what they did to prep Mbappe, and he decided that he wanted and whatever. But they imagine that we are seeing that PSG are doing better, that they are seeming better placed than Bayern Munich, a club that was known for standards of what they did, and it's not there.
Another thing too is that, like, you bring up Mbappe too, and he showed in the game against Sociedad, even when they were, I think, I think you and I both agreed they were second best,
Yep.
but at the end of the day, Mbappe is a
Those
winner.
players, they turn the
He's a
dial.
winner. It doesn't matter.
They
He's a
turn the
winner.
dial.
That's the difference. He's a winner, and
Hmm.
he single handed. They want to know that's the game winning goal,
Hmm.
and that is the difference. That is
That
literally the
was the
difference.
that
I
was the
don't want.
moment that took every bit of air out of Sociedad tank, you know.
Yeah, bro. I don't need Kane scoring a hat trick against Darmstadt.
Yeah,
If he
it don't
score
matter.
one goal and win all those games in a row and
Hmm.
send them back to the top of the table, that is what people want to see. That we don't want to
Yeah.
see Kane scoring 40 goals and not winning the league. That's not what we want to see.
Um,
So again, all of this is fair criticism of
I
Kane.
think
Eh?
it
Like I
is.
have seen a lot. I've seen a lot. Like people like saying how, oh, the trophy thing is lazy and whatever. Like, bro, there's a reason that these things are important. If
Yeah.
you don't see players win constantly and you don't see them win at all, there's no way to judge them. We judge
And
players when they win. That's the ultimate prize
And
of the
it's not
sport.
like if he was doing this playing for Brighton and then went to Leipzig. He was doing this for a club that was supposed to be in the Big Six and were in title conversations. They were in semi-finals. They were in, even if he was playing for Crystal
Finals.
Palace or something, they were in finals. They were in semi-finals, and he didn't even have a Carabao for his name. What does that say about somebody who people what's the funny thing, Brandon? If he had won a Premier League, though they would have had people it had people even now would have want to play him top three strikers at all time in Premier League history. You know? What does that say? That you want to put somebody there who can't win? What does that say?
Mhm.
And I mean, look, and the difference with somebody like Gerard is that Gerard has shown that he could. I will strap you to my back, and we will win this game and win a final 3-0. You think I could ask Harry Kane to do that? And we bring up Mbappe, and I didn't tell you we had talked about this before because I really forgot that it had happened. But Mbappe announced that he is leaving this week. And it has been announced now in a way that has been credible. And we actually believe, hey guys, it's actually happening this time. So it is believed that it's gonna go Real Madrid. It's probably 90% now. We've actually spoken about this already. It's overdone at this point. However, I'm gonna give you one club 45 seconds to tell me why he should go there instead of Real Madrid and why it is better for his career. You're on 43 seconds.
Yeah, no. Because originally my answer was Liverpool, and
Yeah.
Klopp came and destroyed my dream.
I'll be honest, for
So
me too, if Klopp was still there, it wasn't even a question.
yeah, so Klopp has destroyed my dream. I'm gonna go for, and big up my dog the Q. I'm gonna go for Manchester United. I feel like it is it is best for the sport if he was to do that. Like they could. That is a signing to take them back to the top. That is a signing that will define the next generation. It will be Haaland versus Mbappe for Man City versus Man United, people could say what they want about United right now. That signing takes them up levels, bro. And that would I think that would be good for him in his career. It will show that everybody like going to Madrid at this point for him does not prove anything to anybody because we know he's one of the best players in the world. If he goes to United, one of the biggest challenges in the world. Like if he is able to take them to like anything within a title race, anything close to like a Champions League final, semi final, that is proper what we want to see from a player like that.
Hmm.
So apart from Real Madrid, it's just going to be that's what it's going to be. It's just going to be United for me.
Yeah. Mine is Arsenal, and yeah, sure, you can tell me that there's bias in there, and I would not deny that. My logic behind it is this. Part of the reason that Mbappe's entire club career has been underwhelming is because nothing has felt like he has won anything that he really fought for or had to fight for. And I think coming to the club that given that we don't know where Liverpool is going to exactly be next year post Jurgen Klopp, the club that's best positioned to take on the next best club that's best positioned to take on Pep and Man City. I think that he should go there. Now, there's obviously the French connection and stuff like that, and Henry legacy, and if he could do things that Henry never did, that with Arsenal and stuff like that. But yeah, you talk about the rivalry between him and Harry Kane, between Haaland and Mbappe. Yes, I agree that as well, and I think that at United, that everything you say there is completely valid. But I think in terms of a club that may be at that 90% mark, and that the person that going to push it from 90% to 120%, then yeah, that Mbappe is that guy. And in terms of writing his legacy and stuff like that, he goes Real Madrid and he wins things, and it's great. But is KD going to Golden State all over again, boy? And you go in and you'll get your rings and you'll get your trophies, but your legacy and being able to achieve stuff with a club that has French heritage, that is well positioned to compete for years to come and stuff like that, then yeah, I think so. I think the biggest thing is if he and Arteta could ever work out, that we have not seen Arteta do well with bigger egos and stuff like that. I think that'll be a huge challenge here for him. But hey, again, if Arteta wants to be one of the best managers in the world, then he had to be able to do that too. So, with the last actual talking point that we had is Inter Milan. And it's not just that they ran away 4-0 winners this weekend. It's not just that, I know you don't like these stats and things, but they had a field tilt of 92% now this weekend. Now. Like, you know how insanely
Yeah,
push back you have to push a
yeah,
team? Like that's actually insane. It's not just that Marcus Thuram has been one of the signings of the season. It's not just that they are just actually, I'm gonna double check this before we start. I think it's 7 points clear on the top of the table.
what the
Oh my
table
god, is more than that,
is
and they have
nine
a
is
game in,
nine.
and they have a game in hand. That's insane.
Yeah,
And it's not just that they won, that they reached the Champions League finals last year. You know, they are the shining beacon of Italian football right now, with one of the best coaches, hands down to me, in the game, and they are showing that what they did last year was not just a flash in the pan, boy. You know, and that they have to play Atletico. Last week when we did this Champions League preview, we all said that we think it could go either way, and we may just edge it a little bit, just a little bit in Atletico's favor. But hey, Inter Milan are in a position that one, I genuinely wish they did not draw each other, boy, because I hate for either of them to go out. But one, that's going to be an insane game, and two, do not count them out at all.
yeah, definitely not. You can't. Like I mean, like when we did it, I told you like I cannot split it at all.
Yeah.
Like it is very difficult. Again, bro, like Lautaro is the biggest overperformer in the world right now in
Yeah.
terms of XG to
Dog,
actual goals.
insane.
Man, I believe he's the first to hit 20
Yeah, he
in the
is.
league.
Yeah,
Right. So I mean, bro, that is like crazy in itself. Thuram has 10 goals as well. You're looking at double digits for both of them.
yeah,
Thuram has like the second most assists in the league.
yeah.
Um,
And I think it's very
and
likely he does something like 15 and 50 by the time this league is done.
And the 15 and 15 is ever so fabled
Yeah,
by the season. So, bro, I totally agree with everything you say there. Like, Inter are not a team that you need to like think of lightly. Again, it is unfortunate that they have to play Atletico.
yeah,
They
boy.
have to play one of the best teams along with themselves, best defense, best attack
Hmm.
in the world. And I expect them to fully run away with Serie A. Like
Yeah.
at this point,
Hmm.
that game in hand, I don't know who the game in hand is, but
Honestly, bro, it don't
I
matter to
just,
me in it at all, in it. You know?
um, yeah. And again, I believe I need to double check this because I think it's, I believe it is. I think they have like some ridiculous stat when it comes to they've only conceded 12 goals all
Yeah,
season,
no.
bro.
We are in
I mean, like,
February.
come
We are in
on, come on,
February 12.
like, come on, it's 12 goals, bro.
Yeah.
Like, that's just unreal. It's
Bro, I
ridiculous.
remember we saw about world class players a while ago, boy, and I don't know if he actually win anything of measure to say that he should be in that conversation, but now they sign, yeah, and someone are free to, on a
I
free
know, yeah, yeah, yeah,
dog. Like again,
yeah,
another
yeah.
sign of the season, you're talking about it,
Yeah, I remember I said, yeah, I think Sommer is the best keeper in the league. Like, I think he's
Yeah,
better than mine. Yeah, and like he's been a very good keeper
yeah,
for a long
yeah,
time.
yeah,
You know, like, um. So I mean, again, Inter they have some of the best defenders in the world. They have one of the top informed keepers in the world, best attack in the world, some of the best midfielders in the world.
so
Çalhanoğlu has been
mhm.
insane this season, bro. Like, who thought Çalhanoğlu would be good as a deep line playmaker?
Yeah,
It's just ridiculous at this point. And like I say, I fully expected to run away with the league. And when we when we get to the second leg of Atletico versus Inter, we will be in for a good ride.
yeah, but and I mean, like, I think both teams are having a really good season. Obviously, one is better positioned than the other to win something because, as we say, we expect it to run away with the league. But I really hope that if they do end up going out to Atletico, that people don't let that color how insane this team is right now, and they will be back here again next year when Champions League roll around again and the league rolls around again, and
And if they beat Atletico, then people are going to be like, oh,
yeah, yeah,
oh,
hmm
you don't want to play them at all.
yeah, and the last thing, which we ain't really gonna talk too heavy on, is the fact that in La Liga, ever since Xavi announced that he's leaving, I think they draw once, but they actually have won a decent amount. Since then, and Lewandowski started to score. When I say a decent, relatively, but like Lewandowski started to score with us, and thing. I mean, it's funny penalty spot, but who knew he had that in him? Better than Harry Kane. Um, Real drop points this weekend, though. Are you worried at all? They
I
do have
don't.
a decent amount of injuries, to be fair.
Yeah, Girona have a game in hand on them, but it's 6 points ahead. Um, I'm not worried about Real at this point. I think the sooner Bellingham comes back, the better for
Yeah.
them. They continue to do it without a striker, without a top number nine.
Hey,
Um,
Joselu scored this weekend, to be fair to the man.
oh yeah, yeah, but he not starting ahead of
Nobody.
Vinicius
Yeah.
and Rodrigo. So yeah, I'm not worried about Real. I feel like this will be a point during the season where we continue to look at the table and it's going to look very similar.
Yeah. Cool.
Atletico are only 3 points behind Barca. Wow,
Yeah.
that's kind of crazy,
To
but
be fair, the fact that
not
Barca
worried about
even
Real.
overtook them, I was high key little surprised. Like, I
Yeah,
did think that this might have been one of the seasons where Barca had to fight a little bit to make top four, but it looks like Xavi might leave them being still a Champions League club, so that's obviously good. And yeah, cool guys. I think we'll leave it there. I think this was actually a really good episode.
wait, no,
Oh,
we cannot stop there. We cannot stop there. After the happenings of this week, it would be remiss of us to not do a updated prediction because I know you tried to push the Lazio beaten by an agenda, which worked out in the end.
yeah.
We all got PSG, Real
Hey,
Sociedad beating PSG
facts.
wrong,
Yeah, hey,
except
facts.
Patek, big up
Except
Patek,
for
big
the,
up
big up for
Patek.
the fair play.
Yeah, so I mean, give me your thoughts give me your prediction for PSV Dortmund there.
I think PSG will go through now. It just for them to overturn not just two goals at home, but they have
No,
not
no,
been.
PSV
Oh,
Dortmund.
oh, yes. This is PSV at home. Yeah, I think PSV winning. I really do think PSV winning. And PSV won this weekend, and on top of that, Dortmund drew again, and it's like this is like, I don't trust Dortmund. I just don't. I don't. Whereas PSV are playing immaculate football, so I'm gonna go for PSV winning. What about you?
I give it. I'm still gonna go for the draw,
Yeah,
but it'll be a high. I think I feel it'll be more high scoring
yeah, like
now
a 2-0
after
draw
looking at the
kind of thing.
weekend. So I think
Yeah.
yeah, something like that. Into Atletico, John, the most
So
difficult thing.
it is at Atletico. So I'm gonna go with.
No, it's at Inter.
Or at Inter.
Yeah.
Atletico rest Real Man this weekend, you know. The Atletico win 5-0 at the rest Real Man, you know. Uh, I'm gonna be sour. I'm gonna go for a draw. I'll go for a draw.
All right, I'm still gonna give it to Atletico boy. Griezmann the shine. Griezmann the shine.
Oh, dog. So
Uh,
like, is either is that no? I was thinking the little 1-1, but you know what the thing? I can see Atletico winning because I with all due respect for everything Inter has done this season, I trust Atletico individually to make it count any moment. But
yeah.
I'll go for
One
the
one
draw
player.
because it's at home right now.
One player. I surprised that we didn't talk about in that episode is a player me and Patek love a lot. It's gonna be very interesting to see Barella versus Rodrigo de Paul. I think that'll be a very good battle in the midfield. It's gonna be real nice to see.
Bro,
So
from a
uh,
personal point of view, I'm so glad that game is a Tuesday, so that I don't have to find
yeah,
out
it
to
is a
watch
Tuesday.
that
Both of those
on
games are
on the
Tuesday.
Wednesday. So yeah.
Yeah, yeah. All right. So give me Napoli, Barcelona. Gonna
Um,
win us. He's
guys,
scoring with us now, eh?
guys in Napoli and Napoli drew this
Yeah.
weekend. They have not been good. Honestly, boy, I wouldn't be surprised if somehow Barca's come out win. But give actually, yeah, you know what? I'm gonna give Barca the edge. I'll say Barca actually might win. So yeah,
Mm, what am I gonna go for here, boy? You know what? I'll go for a 1-0 on Napoli. I still think this is gonna be one of those away goal rules type of thing. So I'll
yeah,
go 1-0 Napoli. And finally, John, your own team. You
yeah.
know,
I'm gonna go
be
for
be reasonable. Don't
no, no,
say
no.
five. Don't
No, no,
say
no, no. I
four.
was gonna say like 2-0 or 2-1. But
Okay.
yeah, I think we should win. I would like it to be more. I don't expect it to be more. But it would the dream scenario would be for us to go there and put up the kind of goal difference that would mean that the home like could be almost a formality. But I'm gonna go that we win and that hopefully we take care of things in a more professional way. I expect Jorginho to start, but we'll see when the day comes. And yeah,
Yeah, I have Canada's finest, Stephanie Stakio,
in
going to
midfield.
pocket Declan Rice. Nah, just joking. I still think Arsenal gonna get this one done. Maybe a little 2-1 to head
Yeah,
back to the
yeah,
Emirates.
I
So
think that's
yeah, I'm
fair.
gonna go with that one. But yeah,
Cool.
you can sign us out now.
Yeah, guys, I think this was genuinely great. I really enjoyed this episode. Please share this with somebody if you're still here. Kayla, we know you're here. Share this with somebody. And thank you guys. Brandon, thank you so much for coming. And catch you guys next time. See you soon. Take it easy. Love you guys. Enjoy Champions League. Later.